Bob. How we doing?
Morning, brother. We're doing good, doing good. Long time no see.
Yeah, man, I've kind of been out and about and all over the place, but back in the office for this week, or at least till Thursday, and really wanted to get one of these shows in here since we really haven't got around to doing it. So probably have a lot
Yes,
to
sir.
talk about.
Man, it's going wild out there right now, ain't it?
Yeah.
We got hurricanes. We
What
got
what are you guys
coming in.
seeing as far as the
Florida.
dispatchers go?
It's wild. I have seen a little bit of a volume decrease in, a couple of my West Coast lanes, like Phoenix and Las Vegas, but that's pretty normal for this time of year.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting ready to turn up for the fourth quarter. My reefer out of St. Louis doing beautiful with. He got held up in that little bit of a hurricane this morning that's coming into Houston. But
A little tropical
other
storm we
than
got
the
down
hurricane,
here.
yeah, tropical storm. Yeah, it was a category one. Now it's a tropical storm.
Right.
But these brokers, man, they're killing it. They're taking advantage of every little bit of they can.
Every
Lanes are
time,
paying
right?
$2. They're posting at $1.40. So
Every time they do it, anytime they get the chance, they will do it. We'll never forget what happened during COVID when everyone was running for a dollar a mile, no matter which lane you were in. So I think there's still some groups pushing for regulation around those laws. So we'll see how
yeah,
that plays out. I'm
as you
surprised.
previously mentioned, it'd be nice if everybody played fair already, so we didn't have to have government regulation on everything that we do. But seems like it's a fitted area that needs it.
Well, you just truckers need to remember that when they have the upper hand to use it, because as soon as they don't, it'll be used against them. And I think that's kind of what we're doing now. Is the markets are good everywhere we go. We're getting paid pretty decent. Um, I don't know if that's going to change unless something happens to volumes, but I don't think anything's going to happen to capacity. Just with the equipment shortage, the
Well,
driver shortage.
what you see, a prime example is what's happened to me this morning in Tyler, Texas, to be specific. We have to stand strong together as truckers, brokers, and company owners and keep the rates high because the second one person books a load for less, that starts affecting. It's a trickle effect. It drops our margins lower. They think they can move a load for $1,000 because they had one knucklehead do it, and
It is, and
it's
and
been
the
high.
big question, or the big challenge, is how do you get everybody on that same page? I have a solution for that I've been working on. Will be coming out shortly. It's so close I could taste it.
Yeah, well,
Where
we're excited for it, brother.
we can kind of band together, and make sure that we're not actually booking loads, under market value, because like you said, Bob, it just runs the whole market down. It doesn't matter, if there's other trucks that want more money. If the brokers can smell that the trucks will take it for less, then they're going to sell it for
Yeah.
less, and then you're kind of screwed at that point, right? You're going to have to take it for less, because if you don't, somebody else will. If you want to get out of that market and make any money, so that's just kind of been the way our systems worked forever. It's kind of broken. A lot of things about the supply chain is broken, and we're kind of figuring that out now. But we'll see what happens with the new
I think it's
administration and
something
some of the
we've always
regulations they're
known.
pushing out.
I think it's something we've always known. We kind of just keep it in the back of our head. But after coronavirus, I think a lot of carriers really open their eyes up and are willing to stand up more against it now. We
I,
have so much stuff happening since coronavirus. Well, I mean, with ELDs, that would probably be the start of it. Nationwide ELD mandates, and then coronavirus, and just it, it's not regulation isn't always the answer, but I feel like this might be a spot that needs to be regulated with a little bit of government control. It's
I think
unfortunate
as
that it's come.
soon as you get the government involved in anything, um, it goes downhill. I think honest business practices,
Yeah,
would be good. And there are some brokers out there. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of honest brokers, and there are a lot of brokers that aren't so honest. So
oh
you
yeah,
kind of have a mixed bag. Just my recommendation to everybody is build relationships, because that's what's going to keep you above water when things go down. And who knows when it's going to be? From everything we're reading, unless something catastrophic happens, We're gonna keep seeing these elevated volumes, and we're gonna keep seeing these rates as long as there's volume, more volume than there is capacity. It's just kind of where we're at. So speaking
Yeah.
of, I did bring up this map since we haven't really had a chance to look at the markets in a little over a week now. The
Looks a whole lot
outbound tender
different than it did
rejection.
last
I'm
time.
actually surprised to see California where it's at. I figured we'd see a change there, but looks like week over
Honestly, with
week there
what
hasn't
the
been much
way
change coming out of Cali. What are you seeing
we've
in
been,
Cali?
what, about a week and a half since our last Truckin' with Bob.
Yeah.
And in that week and a half, I really, if you look at Ontario, it's still got a nice thick layer, and I'm assuming that's your, what is that, your volume for the height, and then the color is rejection, or is it the opposite?
Yeah, no, so the volume is the height. So yeah, that's why you got the height over there. But as far as like weekly change in rejections, it's pretty stagnant. That just means that the same trucks are running the same lane. They're not really bringing in new trucks into that lane. So
Yeah.
it
Well, I've seen a slight drop in volume personally. I mean, some of the loads that we were running, we're not getting as many of, but I don't know if that's just because of the quarterly change coming up or what, but
so
glad to see
the
a little trickle in it.
seeing a lot of tender rejections up in the Salt Lake City area. I know there's pumpkins and stuff coming off there, but I wonder what's driving that. I'm not so sure, but looks like
My,
the western.
my pumpkin guy's got stuff coming out of that area headed down into Texas for distribution right now.
Yeah.
So they're starting. Yeah.
Everything else looks kind of stagnant. Nothing really. I mean, this market here is kind of catching my eye, which is the Rapid City market. This is probably just crops coming off, if I had to guess, up in this area, this whole area right here. It is harvest season. So we're starting to see a lot of that coming off and affecting reefers. In fact, we recently sold a couple of reefers that we had here in our fleet, and wow, there's a market. There's a big market for equipment right now. Everybody's looking to get their hands on reefers. So
Oh yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing here. A little bit of rejection change up here in the Medford market. Probably looking at the same deal. Um, I can. I'm pretty sure that the red we're seeing down here is just from the hurricane spike in FEMA traffic or disaster relief, and now it's kind of subsiding a little bit. That's why it's red. But I think these markets are still pretty strong as far as volume goes. Same thing over here in the Tallahassee market and the Savannah market. We are seeing some tender rejections, but really not much change. But the volume is still so high, you can get loads out of that market. So it's still good. It's still really good. The rates are still up. You can contest to
I
that,
haven't
Bob.
Yeah, I haven't touched a spot in the country where the rates have really been down. I'm still getting killer rates out of Ontario, going to Arizona and Vegas. My Louisiana guys always do really well. The rates aren't down. It's just over there on the West Coast, a little bit lighter on the loads, but everything's really up, man.
Yeah.
Still doing really well.
Yeah, it looks like the West Coast volume is, not like what we're used to seeing. So definitely the trucks are avoiding it. You can see in the tender rejections they haven't changed. Volumes decreased a little bit, but tender rejections stayed the same, meaning that the trucks have found more money somewhere else. So not sure where that is. Can't really pick it out from this map, but maybe we're well distributed right now, across the
I
country.
don't know. We had a chance to show that competition we had 2 weeks ago where we focused on the West Coast lanes. Um, but we really found out that, California isn't as integral in a good week as far as income as we thought it was.
Yeah.
Uh, my logic is in order to make money on the West Coast, you got to get down to LA, or at least that was my previous logic. Right now, with the harvest season booming, you could float around, Washington, Oregon, Utah, and stay the hell up out of California and still make a buku buck. I think you got that pulled up right there, don't you?
Yeah, so this
Or
was the
East
last
Coast.
week's challenge winner. We were running the East Coast, and we were originating out of Roanoke, Virginia. So this truck here, we ran from Roanoke, Virginia, up into Rhode Island, and then ran them a little bit further north into Maine, and then just brought them right back down into New York, and then kind of ran between New York and Virginia, and just running that after fuel, after $2,052.32 in fuel for 5 days. The truck still made gross profits of 9,346, and we reran these miles, and we actually got that number to $9,600. Um,
Well,
the
guys,
miles,
just so you understand, this is a theoretical game that we play weekly. It's a way that we sharpen our skills and discover new lanes across the country. It's a really cool thing that we do as a dispatching team.
yeah,
Like I said, cut our teeth and sharpen our skills. This is a theoretical situation. These loads don't exactly match date for date as far as a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday gig, but this is something that you could expect out of that area, a realistic number if you were to follow that lane.
it's as realistic as you can get it. I know it says 696 on the miles on that first day, but those would kind of track into the next day. We kind of try to, 600 miles a day is the max, as far as you can run. But yeah, it is in theory. Your pickups and deliveries would have to really match up perfectly for this to happen for you. But even if it didn't, and you missed one of those legs somewhere along the way,
We're
you'd
still
still
talking
be
about
over seven.
$1,000.
You'd still be $7,000, $8,000. You know what I mean? So there's
Mhm.
there's money, and a lot of people are doing that. And in fact, we're doing that for a lot of our trucks. So if you're looking for a good dispatch service, I'll give us a little plug right now. 4keyslogistics.com. Check us out. You can get on there and on board to the company, and you'll end up with a dispatcher, dedicated dispatcher. A lot of other dispatch companies don't do that unless you have a fleet. So with us, you don't have to have a fleet to get a dedicated dispatcher. So remember that, and you're not locked into anything. So you can give us a try. If you don't like what we bring to the table after a day or two or a week or a month, you're free to leave. This service was designed to help somebody make more money, not to hinder you guys and make less money. So if you can do it better yourself, or somebody can do it better, by all means do that. But 9 times out of 10, I think we can do a little bit better
Yeah,
than most. So check us
I
out,
agree.
4keyslogistics.com. Um, and let's look at some of the critical events, Robert. I know we had Nicholas down here, which is a little bit of a hurricane. It does say hurricane, tropical storm Nicholas now, so it must start as a hurricane. Kind of popped up on us. I wasn't
It's
paying much
it
attention.
started
And
this morning and broke landfall as a Category 1, and then as it pushed inland, it downgraded into a tropical storm. But
right,
they're still expecting flooding all through the Gulf Coast and even further inland. So Louisiana, with all those bayous, they're probably going to get hit with even more water down there in New Orleans. Those poor folks living in the fishbowl.
mm-hmm.
Uh, it's going to be a rough time down there. Expect to see some more FEMA relief stuff and all that stuff probably coming here soon.
Yeah, probably so. I don't know what kind of damage this one will do here, but you just never know. You can't predict that kind of stuff.
I think
A
their
little
big
bit of
concern is
wildfire still
flooding.
burning over here in the west. You can kind of see them peppered throughout. So just
Yeah,
kind
there's one burning right here. I live in Visalia, California. I'm the gateway to the Sequoias, and we have a big fire compromising a small town just up the highway from us, Three Rivers. They're doing evacuations on it now.
They did that
So
last year. I remember the year before actually. We had the wildfires
yeah.
up there. But yeah,
Mhm.
you're talking about right here. Let's see which fire that is. It's the Paradise Fire, maybe. It's got to be one of these
I
here,
think that is Paradise.
or the Walker's Fire. Yeah, you got a few of them right here, just right above you. How's the air quality in Visalia?
Um, Yesterday, looking off into the hills, it was very ominous, black, and looking nasty. I was expecting to see some soot and ash fall from the sky like we normally get when these fires happen, but it's kind of hazy. But if I had to put it like a 1 to 10, we are really being affected by the Lake Tahoe fire more than this one is so far. So,
Yeah. Well, it'll grow if they
but
don't contain it. I mean,
it's not.
these fires up here towards Lake Tahoe, this Dixie fire and this fire here, the Caldor fire is the one that's affecting Tahoe. It's kind of made a
Yeah,
move in here. So if you're up in this area, look how close that is. It's getting there. If you guys are
yeah, it
up in
is.
this area running, just avoid this area. Don't take any loads into the area. You're gonna just get in trouble doing it. This one up here is massive, the Dixie Fire. Just right outside. Look at
It's
Paradise is in trouble again, isn't it? I didn't even notice that. Wonder if it
yeah, it's
burned.
wild.
I know
Well, it looks
Paradise.
like
Paradise burned a few years back when I was there, and yeah,
There's Paradise just down the hill a little bit.
right here's Paradise. Yeah, that you got that fire coming right down here to 70. Not good. Not good. Happens every year in the West. Good thing we're coming into winter. Maybe we'll get some rain to help out here and get some of these fires extinguished. So,
Yeah, too bad we can't get that hurricane out this way, right?
yeah, right. I know it. You guys need that hurricane over here. Very rarely do we get hit with any sort of hurricanes on the West Coast there. So, unfortunately for you guys, it's just
Yeah.
dry everywhere.
Gotta
So,
love
yeah, as far
California,
as
man.
current
It's a
events go,
tinderbox.
just look like Texas and Louisiana is affected more so than anywhere else. Looks like we got some severe storms up here to kind of worry about. Illinois, top of Indiana, up into Michigan. A little tornado watch right through here too. So be careful if you're up in this area. Looks like you got some weather. Same thing here. So the Northeast is looking at some thunderstorms. Right here over Kansas, Colorado area, there's a little bit of a storm system. But other than that, everything else is running smooth. There's money to be made. Get out there, make your money. If I had to really call out a lane here, I would say stay in the Midwest because we're seeing tender rejections here. This is always a good area to run. You kind of run your truck in this area where you're seeing these tender rejections. These
If
markets,
I could give anybody an advice, whether it's a dry van or a reefer, I would stick to Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and keep Kansas City and St. Louis in your repertoire right now. You can't go wrong with the Carolinas either. If you're willing to run over to West Virginia, Carolina, North Carolina to Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, really good lanes this time of year, man.
yeah,
Really good lanes, and you can look at the map right there in front of Billy. That information's clear and apparent on there as well.
yeah,
So.
and those are good lanes. Those are always kind of a good go-to too. When things get bad, it seems like it stays good here longer than anywhere else. So Midwest is good. Don't really have much as far as news articles go, but I did bring this one up, which is basically just talking about red hot rates. Shipments high, capacity constrained, same issue, same thing we were really talking about, which is there's not a whole lot of capacity out there right now. Drivers are jumping from one truck to the next. Trucking companies are having a hard time acquiring the equipment they need. Old equipment's going out and breaking down. You can't find parts for it. I know a guy right now personally, friend of the family. He's been down for 3 weeks waiting on a sensor for his DEF system. Just can't get one in, and they're back ordered. He's going to be out another 6 weeks, is what they're telling him, just for a sensor on his truck. So,
Wow.
trucks are sitting that could otherwise be running, but we just can't find the parts. The parts are just not being made. And so that's
Did
really
you tell him to
affecting the
call his
market.
insurance company and his financing company for his truck to tell him that he can't pay the bills for 9 weeks?
Yeah,
Or
they don't care. They don't care. You still have to pay that. You still have to pay the insurance, or your authority
so
becomes inactive, and you still have to pay
there's
that
no
truck.
pause button.
It's tough, man. It's tough being an owner operator in today's world. It really is. And that's kind of what we're all about here. Is I started this business to help a guy that wanted to get out and start his own company and become an owner operator. And we can help you run your truck more efficiently and make more money. We can kind of point you in the right direction when things go bad. But ultimately, if your truck's broke down for a part that's non-existent or you can't get your hands on, you're gonna have to get creative at that point because there's only so much you can do. If it was me, I'd try to find a way around it, or I'd try to find a fix, or I would try to find an old wrecked truck somewhere or something. Anything I could do to get that truck running. And I'm sure these guys are doing that, but it's tough. It really is. It's tough.
There's
You just never know.
probably not a lot of options out there. Wrecked
No.
junk trucks aren't seen as junk necessarily right now with the shortage of everything going on.
Yeah,
We
no.
have,
I know the
like
market
you
is
said,
hot.
backorder on so much stuff.
It's hot for equipment right now. It really is. Um,
Yeah.
Truckstop.com indicates the 7-day van rate per mile is at all-time highs at $3.60 a mile. That's pretty wild. Contract
Believe it,
rates.
man.
What was that?
I said I believe it. I mean, that's light for some parts of the country.
Yeah. So
So,
this one down here below compares the contract rates. We talk a lot about spot rates, There are two types of rates. There's your contract rates that nobody talks about, and then you got your spot rates, which kind of go up and down. You can see the contract rates, they're kind of steady incline here. These are more consistent rates. But when the market's good here, you're missing out. But when the market's bad here, then you're gaining. So it's kind of just depends on how big your company is. That smaller guys don't really benefit too much from taking a loss in a good market, unless they found a gig that they can run for a lifetime or something where it's guaranteed money. But it just really depends on your situation. But we're looking at contract rates down $2.59 a mile, really high. Compared to last year, it was $2.21. So you got quite the jump from last year too on that. So rates are up, everything's good. It's really easy to trip and fall and make a lot of money in this market if you got a truck that runs and you're willing to go out there and find the loads. But if you are looking for a partner to put in your corner, somebody that can help you do it a little bit more efficiently and effectively, check us out, 4keyslogistics.com. We do it all day long. That's all we do. We look at the markets. The same tools we're talking about on Truckin with Bob are the same tools that we use to dispatch your truck. So check us out, guys. If not, tune in, watch our Truckin with Bob shows. We'll put them out as often as we can. We try, but we get caught up. We're busy. I work full time. Robert works full time on the business. He's got his own set of trucks, and just there's a lot going on all the time. So. Anyway, I think I said all I had to say. You got anything you want to leave these guys with, Bob?
Just give us a like, subscribe, hit the
Yeah.
notification bell.
If you like
We're
what we're
waiting for somebody
doing,
to leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you guys. Ask us some questions. Let us know where you guys want to look for freight at. If
yeah.
you stumble across it, you guys are stuck somewhere, feel free to reach out.
If you got a
We're
market
here to
you're
help.
running, hit us up. I'll compare your market to another market in your area, and kind of show you how you can run that truck a little bit better, or if you're running it to the maximum advantage for your advantage. So definitely, yeah, like, subscribe.
Like
The
we
more
said,
likes, the
we
more
can make you an
subscribe.
extra $295 a week. That
Yeah,
makes our services. So
that's
give us a
right.
shot.
Now you're learning, Bob. You're learning. That's what I like to
Hey,
say.
buddy.
If I can make you guys that extra $295 a week, then essentially the service is free, and that's true all day long. That's not fake news. That's real. So if you guys like what we're doing, like, subscribe, give us some comments. The more subscriptions, the more likes we get, the more it makes us want to get on here and do this for you guys. I know we're building up a little bit of a base, but we'd like to see more people jump on here, and I think it'll catch traction once people really figure out that we're adding value just by watching the show for 15, 20 minutes a day. With that said, we're at 23 minutes. We're 3 minutes over where I'd like to be, so I'm going to wrap it up. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll try to get another one of these out. I'll be out of the office Thursday, Friday, so I'll try to put another one out tomorrow, and then maybe we'll hit next week, hit the ground running. So until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow.